Ready?
Yeah. Okay, welcome to all supporters and people connected to Bacup Cricket Club, or indeed anybody who'd like to listen in to our little interview, which we're starting today, our set of interviews. First up, we've got our skipper, Mr. Aaron Fielding. No better place to start than with you, Aaron. Welcome. How are you doing, pal?
Morning, Neil. Yeah, good, thank you. Oh, good. A bit fed up, but still going.
Exactly, yeah. So how are you keeping yourself busy in these unusual times, Aaron?
I've got a little boy, some of you will know, he's only 2. So I don't think this could have fallen at a worse time, to be honest with you. He's taking up more than 100% of my time at the moment. And I'm starting to go grey over the last month. And I think that's a big contributing factor. So other than that, very little, like most, really. Just bits and pieces.
I'm sure Molly's got 1 or 2 jobs to keep you busy, Ron.
Yeah, we've done the front of the house. We've done the back of the house. Painting inside. But as long as I don't have to look after the little fella, I'm happy. I'll do any. I'll get on roof. I'll be happy with that as long as I don't look after him.
Very good. Busy lad. Turning out to a bit of an all-rounder there, all those jobs you're doing, Ron.
Yeah, I don't know how good they are, but I'm trying.
Probably the nearest you'll get to being an all-rounder, I would imagine. But,
I'm the captain, Neil. I can still decide if I want.
Of course, but I'm the chief selector and I can also.
True.
But anyway, let's move on. Okie dokie, let's get cracking, pal. Obviously, we're not quite sure what's going to happen this season. The league's hopes are for a restart, and everybody's hopes, if at all possible and safe, is for a restart or a start in July, playing everybody once.
Yeah.
No promotion or relegation or champion, so hopefully competitive, but no sort of end product. Maybe a T20 thrown in, that would be good, given our form in that over the last couple of years. So what's your thoughts, and how's it going to work, do you think?
Yeah, I think fingers crossed we actually get something. It doesn't look particularly likely at the moment, I suppose, but hopefully we do get it. And my thoughts on it were that if we did manage to get 11 games in, I thought that would be a fair representation of which teams have done best that season. So I was a little bit disappointed there's no promotion involved in the season. But I also understand perhaps it's not over a fair enough period for some people, so perhaps go on the fair side. But yeah, I think hopefully we get going in July, and some 2020 stuff would be quite good. I was speaking to Pete Fell a few weeks back, and he mentioned some more localised T20 days where each ground perhaps holds a game on a Saturday afternoon, and have perhaps the Valley sides, for example, coming together, having a semi-final and a final in the same day, or perhaps even just 2 clubs and have the seconds play at perhaps 12 o'clock and the first team perhaps play at 4, just to boost the income. I think there'd be enough interest in it, and obviously with losing so much cricket, it'd just be nice to get a few extra games, and even if it is just for a bit of fun, as opposed to anything majorly competitive. But hopefully we get something like that in.
Yeah, I think people will just be desperate to get out there and play any cricket, and spectators do.
Especially the spectators.
Any cricket going,
Yeah, I think you get a lot up there as well with not having so much. I think there's be some good crowds on for something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we face the possibility, if we are allowed to play, of social distancing still being in operation, and we're fortunate enough our ground is big enough, I think, to perhaps cope with that for people to spread out around the ground. I suppose we face the prospect of, if we do again play cricket, of maybe without the club being open.
That's another
for
thing.
Our aftermatch beverages, but
make a donation on the gate, perhaps. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it's been said that possibly one of the problems that we might have from a health point of view is the ball, and the ball being passed around, and people as we do spitting on the ball to shine it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
we'll just have to see how that works. On the professional front, Ron, I know we were discussing earlier, it's almost certain the pro won't be able to come back this year, or it won't be practical for him to come back for just a very, very short time.
Yeah.
We are already looking into sort of rolling over the contract for next year for Sachi. He's keen to come. What would your thoughts be on that, Ron?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. He's probably, as a cricketing side, he sort of transformed us a little bit last season. I think just the confidence he gave us, especially in the first perhaps 11, 12 games, to know that we could fully count on someone. I know that's not what you perhaps should be thinking, but it was just nice to have that luxury, and people played well around him as well.
Yeah.
And that's just on the batting front. On the bowling front, which, if we'd have got 700 runs out of him and 40 wickets, I'd have been, really happy with what I'd heard as more of a containing bowler. But took a lot of wickets for us as well. He took a lot of pressure off the other end to take wickets. And if people were bowling dot balls, he was just rolling them over at the other end, really. I think he really improved our amateur bowlers by just literally just by getting through some overs. Ben had a really good year. I think Ben might have had a record year, and the other guys all chipped in as well. Nice. I think he really helped that.
Yeah, I think that was one of our big improvements last year. Obviously, we didn't finish where we'd liked to finish, but one of the big improvements was the way we could at time keep the runs down, something we'd failed to do in the previous couple of years. There was always somebody at one end letting them get too many, whereas at times last year we were able to bowl well in pairs, often with Sack being one of the two, but nevertheless it's a big improvement and something
that's
we
what
need
he's there
to
for.
Yeah,
couldn't agree more.
Good. Well, let's look forward to some cricket at some stage, and if not Sachi this year, hopefully he'll be back with us next season.
I hope so.
Obviously, we were in some sort of a pre-season before that got curtailed. How were things going, Ron?
Yeah, all good. We'd split it up a little bit this year into a fitness side, which we've discussed at the end of seasons a few times, and not really done much about it. But I think a lot of the lads took it upon themselves, really. You could notice certain changes with certain people, which was really good. And we'd done quite a bit of stuff at the cricket pad in Blackburn.
Yeah.
More of a batting thing, which was good. And obviously we had a full pre-season planned, trips over to Blackpool, Radcliffe, they got curtailed, obviously. But yeah, we just got stopped in our tracks a little bit. But it was promising to see a few of the lads, some of the younger lads as well. I think we've got some real talent, perhaps not coming through in the next year or two. But it was great to see them lads sort of attend the senior nets for whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time. I think there's some really promising players who fit in with the senior lads already, which was quite nice.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's one of the good things about our club, Ron, is the way that the juniors and seniors do tend to mix, and be it in practice or socially or whatever, we do always seem to have that good mixing, and that's shown also in the presentation that we have in October, which is a joint presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
a couple of young batsmen making me perhaps worry for my spot in a few years' time. Definitely.
I think any batsman would make you worry for your spot on there.
Yeah, but I won't class you as a batsman. You're a padsman.
Fair enough. Right, okie dokie. We have got some new signings. We haven't been able to unveil them properly as yet, but would you like to talk about a couple of them for us, Ron?
Yeah. So we've got, in terms of new lads into the club, we've got a friend of mine called Jake. I've worked with Jake for a couple of years before, and I was trying to get him in last season, but he decided to have another year at Southport. By trade, he's an opening bowler, lower order batter. Hopefully tonk a few down the order at 7, 8 or 9. Apparently the rumours going around that he's very quick, but he's asked me to carbosh that rumour. So he was quite quick, but now he's not quite as quick. He's more of a wily bowler now.
A wily bowler. Well, bowling up at Lanehead, probably wily rather than erratically quick is
absolutely.
Times,
but he's the same age as myself, so he'd be 27, 28. And yeah, he's a good lad as well. So hopefully,
lots of experience.
Yeah,
Youth cricket. Did he play some good level of youth cricket?
Yeah, he's played. He's played for Lancs until he moved to Spain. He lived in Spain for quite a while. He'll be able to tell you more than this, but I think he's a Spanish international.
A Spanish international.
He might be the first in the Lancashire League, I think. I think it might be a junior level, but yeah, we've managed to sign a Spanish international.
Can you speak a bit of the lingo, Ron?
I think perfect, Neil. So you and him might be able to slag me off behind my back.
That'll be all right, won't it? And we've also got another, as well as Jake Sunderland, we've also got a young man who's joining us from Ropstall. We were very pleased to say, Finlay Tester. Have you seen anything of Finlay so far? Yeah, so I saw him in the nets and had a good chat with him and his dad. I'd actually seen him last year. Myself and a couple of lads were just wandering around on an afternoon, so we went down for a beer at Ropstall. I think their thirds were playing Church. Yeah, and we saw him bowl then, and we were really quite impressed with him. I think he took 3, 4, 5 wickets, and I was surprised to find out that we managed to get him when I did find out. Obviously, I didn't know anything really about it, but he seems like a really nice lad, and he's very sharp as well, to be fair. He is, yes. Yeah, I know a few of the lads have certainly commented on that. Yeah, he's a great lad for us to have around there to our youth section as well as the seniors, it has to be said. Yeah. And let's hope he goes far. Finlay has played for Lancs at his age group as well, under 15s. And he can bat a little bit as well, but he's certainly a very good bowler, and one we look forward to having with us and developing, hopefully, over the next few years. Yeah. Bacup. Signs of a couple of other people coming back as well. Steve Ball is playing with us again after a few years off. Yeah, very keen. He's texted me a few times. I think he's bought Surridge out of kit. He's bought plenty of kit, so I hope we do actually play. Otherwise, he's going to have a lot of gear going to waste. But yeah, great to have him back. He's a good lad, a good friend from our younger days. Obviously, played a lot of youth cricket and senior cricket with him. So yeah, good to have Bally back. Yeah. Also, there's rumours around that our friend Peter Fell might be making a comeback. Is it going to happen, do you think, Ron, or what? I don't know. I think he'll play when he fancies, sort of thing. I think he's certainly got the bug back where he does fancy it. And again, it'd be really nice to have that experience and another great lad around the place. I think his wedding's been put back because that would have sort of curtailed the first half of his season with his honeymoon and stuff. So yeah, it'd be nice to see if Pete fancies a game. I've asked him a few times, and I think he does. It's just finding time. He's got a lot of commitments as well. He's got the band. Yeah, of course. Obviously, wife to be Becca and whatever your work. So hopefully, certainly, if he could play and get back to anything like he was, a very economical bowler, and he'd be worth a few overs together with Sachi in the middle of the innings, wouldn't they? Absolutely. Get back to those levels at any stage. Absolutely. Yeah. And also Henry Butcher, who made a comeback right at the back end of last season. That would really be like having a new player as well. Yeah, Henry, when he stopped, he was probably arguably the brightest of our younger players. We had a really young team, but I think when he stopped because of his knee, he was possibly the best. Bat and ball as well. Yeah, good cricket mind. He's a good player. It'd be nice to get him back in sort of full capacity. Good to see him last year, and he's been interested over the winter. So promising signs. Yeah. I should also mention one of our senior members at the club and one of our talented coaches, Pete Ackerley, is also considering playing with the third 11. He'd like to play a few matches with his son Reece, so it's always good to see some of the older boys adding their experience. Perhaps whilst we're on that, I might mention, some of you may have seen it online. He's been doing a series of coaching videos for our junior players to keep them in touch with the game until we're allowed back. So if you haven't logged into those, have a look at them. Good stuff that Pete is doing, using Reece in the coaching videos, and a certain Terry Lord being the technician, the man behind the camera. Some great work there. We've mentioned a few of the new players coming in. We are, of course, losing a couple of players that's been with us for the last couple of seasons. Scoy, first of all, Ron?
Yeah, Scoy is one to be very difficult to replace. I mean, where do you find 50, 60 runs in a season?
Well, yeah.
I don't know what we'll do without that, but we'll have to we'll have to have a try. No, he's a great lad. We've enjoyed having him for the last 3 years, and hopefully it's not the end completely. But he's just had a newborn, I think, just a month old, which is a big
congratulations to him.
We'll see him again. Probably the best catcher I think I've played with as well. He's invaluable with stuff like that. Took a lot of big pressure catches for us. Probably more than he scored
under pressure. Yeah.
But
it'd be great to have him back sometime, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And Aspie as well, obviously. To different shores. I think he's going to New Zealand, hopefully at some point soon for him.
Yeah.
With his long-term missus, Robin. And he'll be another great loss. I've really enjoyed sort of captaining Aspie. It's very good to just lean on, especially when you've got someone at the other end who's perhaps a little bit more erratic. You know, you know exactly where he's going to bowl. He's not lethal, but you can set a field to him. You can frustrate batters. And I think he was a big part of other people getting wickets while he was here as well. And hopefully, again, it might not be the last we see of Aspie, but good luck
Absolutely.
to him.
Yeah, he's
very
great
dependable.
Last couple of years, and more important, smashing lad as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a great lad, yeah.
It's a shame to
big
lose.
Big Burnley fan as well. Big Burnley
fan.
It
does help, doesn't it? That's where he has the edge score.
I should have added earlier, Jake's a Preston fan as well, so...
Is it? Well, yeah, not all good then. Not all good. Brilliant. Okay. So, so that's our new signings. Moving on to this season, how do you think we might fare if we go ahead with the 11-match season? How do you think we might do?
Yeah, again, similar to last year, I think it's a wide open league. I don't think there's any particular standout candidates who are going to dominate. So I think if we can manage to get on a roll of perhaps 2, 3, 4 wins to start, I don't see why we can't put together any more. I think you saw that last year. There were unexpected teams went on good runs, really, and especially I think Corn's a great blueprint. A team that really supported the pro, who was excellent for them week in, week out. And I think that is at this level in Division 2. I think the blueprint is get a dependable pro and support him. I don't think there's much else to it. If you can win the first 3, I don't think anyone would look out of place up there, to be honest with you.
No,
I
absolutely.
can see us up there.
Yeah.
Whereas I suppose in the first division, I think the quality lies beyond the pro as well. Not that it doesn't in the second division, but I think there's more quality, and certainly in the top 6, top 7, top 8, whereby amateurs can win you a lot of games as well. You know you're going to get something from a pro, but you also probably know on 7 games in 10, there might be 2 or 3 amateurs who are going to do some serious damage as well. So I think that's the difference between the 2 leagues. But I don't see us not challenging again. I'd like to see us right up there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do have certainly one of the best, if not the best, pros in the league. So
exactly, yeah.
We can offer that little bit more support, as we've discussed, particularly with the bat. Then there's absolutely no reason why we.
Can't. I think that was why we fell off last year. We were bailed out of a lot of games, really, and you go quiet because the pros done great and everyone's happy. But really, I think it's more about not digging people out, but mentioning things when things aren't going as well, even if we are winning, and making sure everyone's on their toes all the time, winning or losing, sort of thing. And if we can offer more support, I think we'll fare well.
Absolutely. And into 2021, if we don't get much cricket this season, have you any other thoughts on the season ahead? Further ahead?
No, not particularly. I've not given it sort of too much thought at the moment, with it being sort of delayed. But I just think if we need to aim for that blueprint of supporting the pro and making sure people know the roles, really. I think we've signed quite well. We might be someone who can bowl a bit of spin short, and if that person could bat as well, that'd be great. So we'll potentially look at supplying that if we don't have it coming through, which, to be fair, we do. So it's just about maturing for some of the younger lads, possibly,
On that point, of course, he impressed quite a bit with his debut last season in the first team. We've got Josh Holt, who can into off spin and at a lower level, he's proved he can bat very effectively. So if he can bring that step through into
absolutely,
it put ourselves a player.
Yeah, it was mentioned last year. People leaving sort of a mark in selecting people's memory, captains, selectors, managers, and I think he did that really well. He was given a fair chance, I'd like to think, and I don't think he let us down at all. I think he bowled superb. No. He bowls at a great pace as well for a young lad. Generally, you see it quite floaty, but I thought he was very difficult to hit away. So yeah, he certainly could be one of the other ones for the future. Again, for my spot.
Yeah. I mean, he did come on leaps and bounds last season after. I know he was disappointed with what happened with his cricket, perhaps the year before, but last year he came on leaps and bounds. Another young man, Charlie Gansler as well, who's played some first-team cricket already.
Yeah, I've spoken to him at length, really, because he's someone who's got the ability already to play every week and bat high up and bowl. He's a good fielder. I think it's just building confidence for him. There were times last year where I've watched him in the thirds. I don't know how many runs he got in the thirds, but he just looked so at ease. Any bad ball, it was gone. So I was trying to relay that there's no major difference. You still get bad balls, but I think he was more likely to fend. And I think that seems to have grown. Look at him in the nets. Any of the first team bowlers stray a little bit, and he tended to punish that, which was good to see. And I think he'll be a really good cricketer for us in the future. Hopefully for us.
Indeed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Move on to greater things, but
exactly.
As long as we
very promising.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Right. Moving on, maybe. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit now, Ron.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to name your best 11 that you've played with in your time.
Yeah.
Albeit relatively brief. How young are you now, Ron?
28 now, Neil. Yeah.
28. How you've been playing first team cricket?
10. Yeah, 10 seasons. Yeah. With a couple missing in the second, I suppose, but quite a lot.
You're a veteran, you might say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, so a 1 to 11. Let's see how we go. Where are we starting, Ron?
So I did it in batting order, and obviously these are just lads that I've played with, not Watts. So the number 1 was Gally. So I only played with him for 1 year, but massively impressive cricketer and a good lad as well. Still get on well with him. I think he might have broke the record that year when we had Michael Smith as pro. I can't remember exactly, but
he did a great season before he left.
That was the one. When he wicket.
Yeah, I think Gally's is one of the best averages in the history of Bacup Cricket Club. Actually, I think he's averaging about 23. So for a young lad who played quite a few games at the start of his career, when your average tends to be a lot lower, to leave us with an average of 23, and we still hope he might come back sometime.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Still playing at Edenfield, of course.
Yeah.
For 7 years now, but I think he's an average of around about 23, which I know in professional terms doesn't sound a massive average, but in
Lancashire League,
that's a big average.
Especially leaving in your late 20s as well, when your probably next prime 10 years are coming.
Yeah, I think it's even higher than Pete Thompson's, who's our record run scorer of all time. His average is slightly above that, and so pretty impressive to say the least. So you're going with Gally up top. With who? Yeah,
Noobs opening as well. So again, one of the best I've played with. He was a real bonus signing for us. Who I think we were definitely short of a top class batsman. We had Tim at the time, who obviously was that for us. But it's coincided with Tim's exit as well, so it's been really lucky, really, that we managed to land him. And again, a great lad, good to talk to for little bits of advice, experience, and another one who you can sort of count your hat on. I think he's probably someone who we should bat around, as I said, more with the pro earlier. So speaks for himself, and he features in another list I've done for later on as well.
Yeah. He's an absolute wealth of experience, and he's really one for our other lads to watch, because every week he turns up and he's on it. He's ready.
Yeah,
ready
absolutely.
For game. Doesn't matter what's happened the night before.
Yeah, trains well still.
Two of our lads, unfortunately, which might just detract from the performance. But he turns up, he's there, ready, on, ready to go.
I can sleep on any curb in Bacup as well, which is a big plus.
Well, yes.
He's been found in a number of spots. So that's good. And so the pro, you wanted me to pick a pro. I went with Sachi. Probably the best batter. Definitely. Perhaps not quite the best bowler, but as an all-round package, I couldn't really think of anybody else who rivaled him. I think Hasib was probably my bowling pick, if you will. Lovely guy, and made people look possibly too good for our level at times, I thought. And could bowl left-arm spin as well, which isn't bad as a right-arm seamer. But I went for Sachi, just with his capability with bat and ball, especially bat. And he's just off the field stuff as well. We thought he'd be really quiet, but he was, lively, likes a pie, very funny.
Really well, didn't he?
Yeah, really witty guy as well. So and he's still in the group chat, so he comes in and gives people's finds out every now and again. He sits through a lot of drivel, I'm sure, but
good to hear he's keeping involved. Yeah,
absolutely.
I've seen quite a little bit around about how highly he's rated in Sri Lanka as well.
Same. Yeah, I've seen that.
People coming out with comments like he's possibly the best batsman never to have played for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, some accolade. Yeah,
and the amount of centuries he's got, I think it's about 26 first class centuries.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's got another couple this year.
Right up there at the top of the list among some of the big names in Sri Lanka. So
yeah,
we do have ourselves a class act with Sachi. So yeah, Sachi's the pro in at number 3.
Yeah, Sachi at 4 is Tim. Probably consistently the best player to play with over a period of time. Great batter, fantastic fielder, and a good mate as well. So that one sort of picked itself. I think he got a couple of centuries with me playing as well. Probably the only one who can say that. So yeah,
I'm sure you saw him all the way to his century run, did you?
I think I was with him for about 60 to 62 on one of them. So obviously just shielded him a little bit from the better bowling, and then let him crack on. But yeah, Tim, great player.
Yeah, good
great
pick.
lad.
Or number 1 or 2, wherever he's in the order.
Number four. Yeah, true. He could go either way. Number 5, Badger, another good mate of mine. Probably changed a little bit from his junior days. Obviously, a real strong hitter now, and very destructive on his day as well. But hopefully, we'll see the best of him in the next 10 years. We spoke about prime years with Galley before. I think Matt's got about 2,500 runs, and he'll be 27. So hopefully, over the next 10 years,
and so
quite a lot to that
as well. And I do have to say, obviously, in my role over the years, I've seen all the lads come through the ranks from the juniors to the thirds and upwards. And watching Badger play at third 11, I don't think I can remember seeing many better than him. Galley, Galley, of course, but Badger, he could bat through innings in the third 11. No. And,
absolutely.
I in the best of him yet. We've seen him in glimpses. I think we're yet to see the best of him.
But it's been discussed. I think he's been sort of a little bit low in recent years. But I think I've spoken with him in a bit of length, and I think there's more responsibility there for him moving forward. I think moving up to probably number 4, and really sort of dominating innings and batting for a longer period of time than perhaps he's sometimes been used to.
Yeah,
and building those innings again. But yeah, so Matt at number 5. At number 6, Joe Mack. Obviously, he'd probably feature in about 15 of the Lancs League teams. To be fair,
for different reasons.
Yeah, for very different reasons. But again, another lad who I still speak to regularly. Great with bat and ball. Probably one of the best all rounders the league's seen for over the last sort of 10 years when he's been in it. And yeah, extremely dangerous. I think we saw the 2020 game down at Rottenstall. I think he made 110, and I think whoever batted at the other end had made about maybe 10 to 20. I don't know exactly.
I think we're only chasing about 120, 130, and he got 100.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Albeit small ground, I think a lot of those would have would have been sixes on any ground. So yeah, Joe with bat and ball.
Great lad, Joey. I wish obviously we still have him at Bacup. Again, his time when he arrived as a junior. His dad being so much of a footballer, maybe he thought he wouldn't stick it out and football would be his thing, but he came to love cricket more than football, I think. And
absolutely. It's just a shame we don't have the money in the coffers. he'll be watching this, so he'll have a giggle.
I'm sure he will, yes. And,
number 7, we've gone for the wicket keeper. Quite an easy one, actually. Colley's probably the best gloveman, certainly that I've played with. Played a little bit with Chappie in the second, but he didn't keep much, so obviously he was out of there. I played with Jack McGregor, but probably not for long enough. Brilliant player, brilliant batter, obviously. But I think Colley, just for the longevity, and he has been excellent as well. He's improved probably unbelievably since when at 2008, 2010 or whatever it was, up until the current day. I think he's one of the best wicket keepers in the league, and his batting came on last year as well, which was great to see.
I think what I liked out about Collins last season, he sort of got edged out of the side. He probably felt
don't remind him about this.
And I hope he did feel disgruntled.
Yeah, he did.
He lost his place, but he did exactly the right thing. He went into the seconds, he got himself some runs, showed his class behind the stumps, and he's come back in. So with him and Chris, we've got 2 good wicket-keeper all-rounders. And
absolutely,
that be the case, and hopefully they keep each other on their toes, and we get good performances out of both.
Yeah, I think they are. I think it's good competition. So that's the wicket keeper. I've gone at number 8. I've gone for Terry Lloyd. I played quite a lot with Terry in the seconds. He was the captain coming down from the first when I came through. And what a player! I know it's more for second team reasons, but with bat and ball, you could just count on him all the time. He used to bat at 7, 8, or 9. He didn't obviously take a prominent role, and then he'd just ball all his overs on the bounce, make people formerly good players look silly, and again a really good bloke as well. So I've gone for.
Well, obviously he's been doing that for a long number of years.
Yeah,
and we do that at the first 11 at the highest level. Never mind second 11. So
exactly.
It's good. You could just squeeze. Could you just about squeeze just enough of a gap to squeeze Terry into there, had you?
Yeah, only just after his hip hop, that it made it a bit easier.
Good.
So number 9, I've got Spenner, Andrew Spencer. So Spenner was when I first started playing and coming to senior training. He was the one who I sort of didn't like facing. He was the sharpest. I thought he was the best, and didn't play a massive amount of cricket with him. I don't think, but really talented bloke. I think, especially with the ball, I used to really think he was far better than most of the stuff that I saw. And obviously lethal with the bat as well at times. It was a bit harsh batting at 9 there, but it was more for his bowling for me. But yeah, he was probably the first one who I'd come to training and think, Jesus, he's way better than me.
Well, I can endorse that. Obviously, he was a regular in the championship team for 3 years. He was rated that highly. He didn't always get the chance to bowl as much as he would have liked at the time, and play bat as much as he might have done as well. But certainly a very, very talented all-rounder who
good player,
who has achieved great things. But I always get the feeling he could have achieved so much more. Such was his talent with both bat and ball.
No, it was really good. Really
that's
good.
Spenner at 9. 2 to go.
Spenner at 9. At number 10, I've gone for Sheepy. So Sheepy obviously spent 3, 4, 5 years with us. And sort of whilst he came, he sort of
never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. Quite a few explosive ones as well.
Just needed to be a little bit more competitive sometimes.
I remember a bit of a bust up at East Langton. Said he were bowling obviously, and I think I may have been a bit lazy. I can't remember. Anyway, they ran 3, and I think I've had a shout. What are we doing? What are we doing? So I've shouted back. It were always 3, whatever were going on. But a proper competitor, to be fair, and at his best when he got the ball swinging from a different angle as well. He was
devastating spells sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And a good lad. Still speak to him now and again, especially when we play Azzy, obviously. After going back to the to the old enemy. But yeah, a good lad and a good cricketer, and again can hold a bat. So there's no one in this team really that can't hold a bat apart from possibly number 11. I've gone for Ben Lord.
Out and out bowler.
Out and out bowler, yeah. So Ben, again, obviously missed quite a few years, but a very good mate of mine. And I think he's improved in the last, since he's come back into the fold. I think he's probably one of the most clever bowlers, knows exactly what he's doing with it every time. Can set me up in the nets as well as anyone, pretty much every time. So a really skillful bowler he's turned into, and to be fair, a very handy batter. Great catcher as well. He's useful for us.
Absolutely. He's matured so much, Ron, over the last couple of years in his ability to play and his outlook on the game as well, and what he brings. He understands the game now fully, inside out, and
very, very good to learn
that last year, and what awards did he win? Player of the season, Players Player of the season.
Yeah, he got a lot last year. Yeah,
Bowling Award, T20 Player of the season. He had a great season. So let's hope he keeps that going next season. So
and beyond. Good. Yeah, he's again prime years coming up. As long as he can stay fit and whatever, he should. I would imagine he'd take a lot of wickets for us and get himself up that list. Okay.
Brilliant.
So that's the 11. That I managed
to quite a decent 11 as well, Ron.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, did you not squeeze into that yourself, or would that be a little bit too vain?
No, I don't think I'd get enough overs, Wilkes, to be honest. No. Just looking at the all-rounder and the pro as well, it'd be pointless. No. I'd be twiddling my thumbs. So
fair enough.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you'd be in my team anyway, Ron.
I'm sure I would. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on then, we've talked about the best players that you've played with. Maybe we move on now to just to mention perhaps a few of the best opposition players that you've come across in your time in Lancashire League cricket.
Yeah, so this was a bit more difficult. There were a couple that stood out, and then there's probably a lot that I could have squeezed in, but I've narrowed it down to 5. The best player, I think, was when I first came in, was Graham Lloyd. I thought he was like a cut above anything I'd ever seen. I think we played him a couple of times quite early on when I first came into the team, and I just remember him. I don't know if I think he might have made an enormous score once, and the rest it would just chips in at 6, 7, whatever. But the way he used to play, he used to sweep either way, whack it over the houses. It would just unbelievable.
I think the thing with Graham Lloyd, Ron, is the fact that he'd obviously been a professional cricketer and
of course, I get it.
A very good professional cricketer at that. But where he sort of had an advantage is upbringing in league cricket. He understood league cricket inside out, and therefore how he should play it, and not to take wickets away. And he knew he always had the ability, he had something in the tank to up it if he needed to win the game, and that's what made him such a good player.
Yeah, he was brilliant. Great player. Number 2, Andy Payne at Rottenstone, really good player. With bat and ball, probably the best all-round player I think I've come up against. He scored big runs, he's taken wickets against us, and he always seems to do well. He looks as good recently as when I first started playing as well.
Still got it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I think you could say the same about Andy, couldn't you? He's again had professional experience. Both in he was at county cricket at Somerset for a while. He's been out playing around the leagues as a professional, and he knows the role and he knows what to do, whether he's playing as an amateur or a pro here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really good player. Third went for Noobs, so one of our lads technically.
Fair enough. Yeah,
he was obviously with the long spell he played with Todd. He seemed to score quickly. Again, he just used to hammer us,
particularly against us, our nemesis.
Exactly. It certainly felt that way. I don't know if he was the same against everyone. Well, he can't have been, I don't think. Or he'd have about 30,000. But just used to hammer us. I think we fed him quite nicely. I think he was quite pleased with our what we served up. We never seemed to turn up some of those days. But he was, even in the games that we won, and we had a decent record against him, I think, at the time. But in the games we won, I still think he managed to score 50, 60.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why he joined us, Ron, because he scored on Bacup.
Possibly.
Either that or he recognised the quality of our pitches. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one from speaking to him. But yeah, Noobs makes the list. The fourth one, out and out baller, is John Fielding at Ramy. Really good player. Don't like facing him because you just know he bowls at a different pace to a lot of other spinners in our league, I think. Again, obviously a lot of pro experience as well, but really dangerous. Swings his straight ball, and just someone you'd love to have in your side. You just think we've got, especially going back probably 5, 6, 7 years. I think he took over 100 wickets once or twice, and they were brilliant.
He's done this year after year after year, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's still going strong, obviously. And then the last on the list is Adam Bracewell at Enfield. Just as again, someone who seemed to score a lot of runs against us, and looks a really good player, dangerous, hits it hard. I imagine he's not very nice to bowl. He's certainly not nice to captain against. And yeah, just very difficult to play against, a tough opponent.
Another one who's scored big against us, hasn't he, over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. So they've all done pretty well against us that I went for. There were quite a few missed out, but there's been some good players missed out, but I think they were the 5 that I could pick out against us in particular.
They won't get into the Bacup all-time 11 of yours, would they, Ron? Or?
No, I don't think so. So yeah, they're probably the 5 best, I think.
Okie dokie. Right, moving on. Let's ask you now about perhaps the most memorable game that you've participated in whilst at the club in the first 11.
Yeah, I don't particularly have a good memory for games. I struggle a little bit, but the one that stands out was the Lorehouse game, which was T20.
Yeah,
it was a quarter final in 2017. Wasn't one that I particularly contributed much in. It was more just the enormity of the game. We'd not really played in any big games for quite a while. Obviously, with there being no promotion, no relegation, we'd not had a cup run at the time. And we'd done really well that year in 2020. So it was a big build-up, a good crowd on, great night against top opposition as well. And we were excellent. We were far better. I think we won it. I think it might have been rain. I think we won it quite convincingly in the end, from memory.
Yeah, I think the atmosphere that night on the ground was as good as it's been for quite some time. Realising we were up against quality opposition, as you said, and probably not expected to win, and the rain starting to come down, and it was a fantastic win and great night.
It was brilliant. That was the one that stuck out. The Crompton one last year was close as well. That was a great night. But yeah, I think just for it was my first time of being captain as well, that season, just in the 2020. So that made it more. You feel you don't really see much of the game happening. You just think very quickly in that sort of format. So that made it a lot better as well. That's sweet. And we obviously got through to the first finals as well, which was the first success the club had for since really the early 2000s, I suppose.
Yeah. So two T20 finals, and something that's obviously been good financially for the club as well, particularly last year. Was a great day, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Made it to the final. Couldn't manage to win it, but a great achievement.
Just getting there. Yeah, we've seemed to really improve in that, so hopefully we can take some of that form into the league. Yeah, it's confidence, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I think that was the standout game for me.
Brilliant. Okay, one final question. Obviously, over the last 2 or 3 years, the league has expanded. First of all, I think we took on 3 clubs, and we had 17 in the league that season, and had a bit of a split at the halfway point or whatever. Then we added a few more of the old Central Lancashire League clubs coming from the Greater Manchester League, and took ourselves to 2 divisions. Then we lost Milnrow, but the news this week is that Green Mount have now come in and made it a 24th club. So, what's your views on the league expansion and how it's gone so far?
I think it's been brilliant. I think for a club like ourselves, we felt it as much as anyone really. Obviously, we've been dwindling a little bit with, at times, very little to play for. So the 2 division factors made games far more interesting. And I hope that continues to potentially expand going down the line, to make the 2nd division even more competitive as well. But yeah, I think it's been great. I think they've chosen the clubs quite well as well. I think the clubs that have joined in the main have been pretty high of quality.
Additions, yeah.
Yeah, they've been good additions. So I think it's just added to our league, and hopefully in years to come we get potentially a third division. That'd be my preference.
Yeah.
I think it again improves stuff. And the top division now, as mentioned earlier, the top 6, 7, 8 sides, there's some real good quality in there. If you go like nationally, I would imagine some of them fare pretty well. Certainly in amateur leagues, as it is. So yeah, I think it's been brilliant, and hopefully Greenmount are the same. They sound like a good setup, are they? I don't know too much.
A good setup, and yeah, they've quite a good tradition of good professionals over the years as well. One lad in particular who did rather well at the very top. They had forgetting his name now. Matt Hayden, didn't they?
Yeah.
Hayden for us one game over. So a couple of famous footballers played for them as well, didn't they? Gary and Phil.
I believe so. I believe they made centuries or whatever. They were decent players.
So interesting times ahead, hopefully. And
absolutely.
I think we're just about getting to the end. Ron, before we finish, I'd just like to thank you for your efforts over the last year or two as captain.
No problem.
You've been doing a tremendous job. I know you hope to get a few more runs yourself for your personal stats and what have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've done a great job, and long may it continue.
Thank you.
So there we go, everybody. Hope to see you all soon up at Lane Head. I hope it's helped to fill a few minutes of your life in these strange times. Do keep in touch with each other and members of the club, and hopefully we'll be back with another interview very, very soon. Thanks all, and see you around. Bye now.
Cheers, Neil. See ya.